Well, it's official. With 3 kids finally grown and out of the house and 1 teenager left who's got about as much interest in camping as I do becoming a vegan, this bunkhouse behind us has turned into a glorified shelf for dust bunnies and old camping gear. So today we're asking the age-old question, how do you remove one of these top bunks without causing any damage and maybe turn it into a space you can actually use? Well, stay tuned, we'll walk you through it. Welcome back to the Camping Loop. Few things to consider before we start the renovation today. Number 1, I'm not sure what we're getting into. I've never done this before. I do know, however, these things are held together with a little bit of luck, some glue and some staples, so how hard could it be? Secondly, for resale value, we're going to try to save everything that we take apart. Sure, you could come in here and start cutting everything all willy-nilly and hacking screws away, but would you be able to put it back together? No. We're not really into renovations that aren't reversible. After all, we don't know what the future holds for this rig. First thing you gotta do, gather up some tools. You probably need some sort of drill or impact. Get yourself a flathead screwdriver. We're using a little pry bar thing here. Butter knife. I don't know what you got on hand. One thing you are gonna need for sure is one of these square bits here. And the reason being is these look like they're Phillips head screws, but if you try to use a Phillips head, you're gonna end up stripping them out. You're gonna want one of these. Get this mattress off, and again, we're just going to store this down here. You know, thicken up the bottom one. And it looks like a dirty sock back there. Got to pull this piece off here with these 2 screws to kind of see how this whole thing's attached all the way around. Okay. Once we get this top paneling off, or maybe this bottom paneling, we're going to find screws all the way around. And I think what I'm going to do is try to attack it from the bottom, because I don't think anybody's going to be able to get up there and unscrew it from that end. Now, this might give you an idea right here on why we're doing this. Anyway, I got my little pry bar. Come on in here, Wen. Let's show them what we got to take off. We got this trim that goes all the way around. And once we pull that off, we'll be able to remove this bottom paneling. Now, again, we're trying to do this without causing any issues. You want to kind of find where the staples are and work it down from there. Carefully and slowly. Something like that. It's comfortable in here. Well, that was easy. You can see we got all that trim work down. Now what we're going to do is pop out of this dungeon and try to pop this paneling off. So with a little bit of prying, we did have to take our mini blind down, but we'll be able to put that back up. Carefully, you can reach in here. And again, we got to approach this from the bottom so that we're able to reach all these screws all the way around. And you want to be careful not to rip the wallpaper, obviously. It is a little bit of a tight fit. I'm going to grab a 2x4 and stick it in down at the end here. And use that to pry down the rest of this. Once you guys get your paneling out, exposes these screws all the way around. We're going to, give me just a second, we're going to start popping them out. Oops. I don't know how to work a drill. So we got all the screws popped out except 2, you know, didn't want to collapse it on my head. We're going to send Wendy in to get the last 2 while I hold up the shelf for her. There's one, see it right there sticking out? Pull that one out first if you can. Get my finger out of the way for you guys, my lord. Push it, give it hard, give it hell. There you go. Go, go, go. And then One more right above the window there. Watch your head. For it. Give it hell. Go. Go, give it. Oh. Get it. There. Oh, that's a thick one. Tight fit. Before we actually pull this thing out of here, it's just resting on this piece of trim here. Plus, ran into a little snag. Let me show you. The back. Let me crawl in the dungeon. It's going to get dark. This piece right here, it's actually screwed in from the outside. You can see the rest of it's not anywhere. So I'll show you how we deal with that once we get this removed. Well, you can see that this is free here, except it's getting hung up on this piece of trim. Where's my little pry bar? There it is. So we're going to pop that off quick. Again, carefully. We don't want to break anything. Come on. Easy. Okay. Now, we should be free to lift this up enough. You want to grab the camera Wen, and I'll kind of lift this thing out of here. Let's move this pry bar. Now, I want to be careful of the wallpaper here. Let me see what we're hung up on. I'll change of plan number 47. It's actually not screwed in from the back wall, which is good news. However, we're going to have to remove the rest of this trim because they got these things in here tight. Let's get this piece out of the way. And I'm going to grab this back piece as well. Are you showing them? All right. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. I guess I'll get this one too. Why not? Take the whole damn camper apart. Now, with a little finagling, should be able to pull this whole thing right out. I'm just going to set it right here behind you. Watch your head. Whew. All right. Now that we got a little headroom in here, I'm going to show you how to deal with some of these holes that are left over from the bunk. First thing we're going to do is move this blind up a notch. You know, because there's plenty of play down here. Let me up that one off. Pop off this one here. We'll pop this up. Covering up all those holes. And lost the screw. That was easy. And to deal with the rest of these screw holes from the bunk, and we can't hide with the curtain. We got some of this here, I don't know, silicone caulky stuff. Just kind of fill in the holes, blend it in a little bit. And take your tool and push these down. That'd probably help. You know, so we're not fighting the wallpaper. Let me get in there. And you just put a little dab on your finger, jam it right in the hole. Looks a little better. And the last one here. There. Next, we'll show you guys how to deal with the trim that we had to take down. What we're going to do is actually use the longer pieces from the bottom of the bunk to fill all this in and make it look a little nicer. Give me a second, I'll grab that. Like I said, to deal with this trim, we got these longer pieces that were on the bottom of this bunk that we originally took off. I'm just going to get a quick measurement here. Nothing there has to be perfect. We're not building a Taj Mahal. Need somewhere to cut this. Perfect. Can you hand me that? Once you get them cut down, just go ahead and grab your hammer. Tap your staples back in. We'll go through and tap in the rest of these and replace those as well. Now you can see we got the trim hung up in here, and that looks way nicer having those full pieces. This is the next mess we got to deal with from the bunk being screwed in. This wall could be cut down. Again, we're trying not to do anything that's permanent and reversible. If anybody ever wanted to put these bunks back in, they'd be able to. What we have here are a couple shelves that used to sit in here for telephones or iPads or for the kids or whatever the case may be. And we're going to go ahead and install them right over these holes, just to kind of help make it look a little nicer. Oops. One. And we actually picked these up from the Dollar Tree, I don't know, a couple years ago. These things have been great as far as, again, setting your phone up there, or charging, iPad, whatever the case may be for the chitlins there. We'll level it up now. That looks better. And then, unfortunately, a problem we ran into from the staples on getting the top out or some of these, so, you know, pick yourself up some colored pencils. Your choice. Whatever you think's going to match the best. No idea if this is going to work or not, but let's see what we can do. Just fill that in a little. Oh, what's that, a hair? That's working great. See if we can get this one a little better looking. At least blend them in some again. This isn't going to be perfect by any means. That helps hide them a little. Not much, but a little. Oh, I got this one. Let me get that. There we go. Once you're done with the coloring contest, here's a look at final product and what we're dealing with. We're real happy with the way this turned out. Again, the possibilities are endless here. We've gotten a lot of examples of people looking to make an office or storage space. We've seen a couple videos where people have hung some shelves in the back, and we might think about doing that as well. But this is going to work out perfect for the dogs, or just be able to sit here and get dressed without bumping your head, and a big guy like me is going to be able to fit in. There's one more thing we wanted to show you that's an advantage to this quickly, and we're going to have to kill all the lights for it, so bear with me 1 second. So I'm not sure how many of you watching are familiar with a 17B or not. If you're not, it comes with 3 windows. That one there doesn't even open. So you really got this little tiny thing here and an emergency exit in the back. It totally eliminates the amount of daylight you get on here, even on a nice 90-degree summer day. And I got a feeling with this top bunk in here, not only are we going to let more light in, but also a bigger cross breeze. We got the shade shut right now to kind of stimulate what it looked like with the bunk in there blocking everything. Wendy's going to open it up and take a look at the difference here. I mean, it is a cloudy afternoon here. The sun hasn't shined in weeks, and look at the difference. And here's the other thing. If you guys are looking for a little more floor space and you want to do that, check out this video next. As always, we appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you in the next one.